Yeah, Gordon.
Okay, so this is like a somewhat introduction.
Somewhat.
What? Yeah, what's the channel's going to be about us talking about things that we want to talk about, basically. Um,
Just anything. We took the R out of Tropic Thunder because we're really clever.
yeah,
Like
we
that.
spent about 2 days thinking of this name. I was about to say shit name, but the kind of
I think
yeah,
Apex Legends is the thing that made us want to do this. What do you say?
exactly. Yeah, because it's quite well. It was controversial before the game came out. Everyone was like, "Oh, this, that," and we had an argument about whether it would work without the Titans, didn't we?
Yeah.
And whenever I asked someone about it, about the game, whether it would work, I was on the side that the game can hold its own without Titans. But then,
That's with the
obviously,
assumption that I'd still have War running in, just no
yeah, but
Titans. Everything in Titanfall, just no Titans.
yeah,
I thought it wouldn't.
I thought Wolverine being removed would affect it more than it has, but it hasn't. But the whole point of it was we were asking about our mates, and half of us were like, yeah, no Titans is cool, and the other half were like, um, no, it'd be shit without Titans, basically. Which then got us
Yeah.
on the topic of how divisive it is, which just brings a good convo, doesn't it? Good conversation, a
Yeah.
good topic. So
Originally, it was just Titanfall Battle Royale, but then I started hearing that it wouldn't have any, and it was just in the
yeah,
universe. So I was like, what? So I
yeah,
didn't think that was good news, but you were okay with it.
yeah. But turns out it's worked out. We're about to share our thoughts on what we think of what we think of Apex Fall,
Yeah.
Apex Legends,
When I was watching the reveal, I broke the news to you that I didn't even have War running.
and then
You,
I
you,
rang you drunk.
you think it would at least have War running? So you were like, oh,
Yeah,
come on.
yeah. Like I literally called you drunk. Like, what the fuck have they done by removing wall running?
But this was before even playing it.
Yeah. I
So
honestly, yeah. I don't know. We were like we're kind of all over the place about it, but I was positive about Titans, and it's turned out great, and we both
yeah,
agree, don't
I
we?
think it's I'm still disappointed by it, but it's still a great game in its own merits in a
Yeah.
weird way.
See, yeah, yeah. I actually had a dream. What I haven't even mentioned this to you, but I
Okay.
actually had a dream about 2 hours ago while I was asleep midday, as I do with my nana naps, and it was Titanfall Battle Royale with Titans. I literally swear down,
Yeah.
uh, and it was quite weird.
I wish I had that dream. I'd like having that dream.
Yeah, it did it worked, but it didn't. It was a much more slow paced game in my head, and I was running around with Titans while people were on like quad bikes for some reason, and you could like literally trample over people. But this is completely irrelevant.
Oh,
But anyway, um, our thoughts on Apex.
wait.
Uh,
On the Titanfall, it has that like 4v4 mode, which is kind of like a squad going against another squad, and it kind of works. It'd just be that, but like 60, not how
it
many
was
squads? Like
weird.
20 squads.
Yeah, I can't really
So
explain
I
the
could
dream.
see it working.
It was weird. I don't know. I can see it working, but once again, which is my one of the gripes I had actually about Titanfall 2 is I just think it'll just mess the floor. Like, yeah, it would work, but the whole novelty of Apex is like it's just fast, pure, raw, speedy gameplay, and the better you get, the faster it gets, the quicker you do
It
stuff, and I just
it
feel like
it still does things to somewhat stand out, like the pinging system
yeah, I
is
feel
amazing. You
like
don't.
Titans would definitely slow it down, but yeah, we'll get on to the good points of Apex. The pinging system is like pure
That
innovation.
was a surprise.
Yeah, like this is where Respawn's
It
pedigree comes in with stuff like this,
it
I think.
yeah, it allows for good coordination to the point where it might be better not to talk to your teammates in
Yeah,
case of like
because you cut the bull.
language barriers or
Yeah,
just
you
like
can ping where
trash
enemies
talk.
are, as you've all probably discovered by now. You can ping enemies. You can. I only found out today that you can actually like ping what loot you need. And like you said,
Yeah,
your meta packs. I didn't even realize
but like, what was it holding up in
I
the
want.
deep end and out? Yeah,
Yeah. it's just really good. Like it completely fixes. Why has no game fixed a no mic communication barrier yet? Like
Yeah,
games have tried it, but it's never worked, and
they've
it's
even
like
they've even gone so far as to introduce this text to speech system, and
yeah,
we've been using that not the way it's been intended.
it like translates it with this robotic Google bitch,
It's
and it sounds really funny, doesn't it? I hope there's no kids watching explicit content. I'm like swearing every 2 seconds, but oh well. But yeah, basically the pinging system is absolutely amazing. I'm trying to think, right, what else have we got? Obviously, the gunplay is great. It always has been great. It's made by the people that
there's
basically like invented the current gunplay in most games. In it,
oh yeah,
like you
Call
can
of Duty.
hark back to these as to why COD feels like it does. These are
Call,
like these are the daddies of like
it's kind of
I
come
don't know.
full circle because Call of Duty paved the way for everything else. Now those creators are back.
Yeah, and it's good. And that's probably why I'm also like not so much biased, but I'm more on board because I know the pedigree behind, and I've been loyal to
Hmm.
this. I haven't so much been loyal to Respawn, but when they were back at Infinity Ward, me and you basically grew up on their games,
Yeah,
didn't we? And like that is as stupid as it sounds. COD 6 and COD 4, like especially COD 6, are like a massive part of us growing up and like a massive few years for our life. As dumb as that sounds, um, yeah.
it's gonna be interesting
So
if they do remaster Modern Warfare 2
yeah, that's probably a different video.
topic. Yeah,
I'll end up start talking about that. So yeah, the gunplay
but
is great. I love how fast paced
oh yeah,
everything is.
Titanfall's gunplay has always been amazing. There's just something about it
Yeah,
that is so fast and fluid and
yeah.
precise.
Obviously, it runs on the Source engine, so it doesn't feel like you're just playing a rehash COD.
Yeah,
Because
that's surprising. I didn't know about that. I think I knew
yeah,
about it, but then just forgot because it doesn't
yeah,
feel anything like
so it
Half-Life's
feels like
engine.
that's what's great. Exactly, it doesn't feel like Half Life. It doesn't feel like COD. It just feels like its own thing. And the speed, man, it's quite old school. Like when you're like you get in a room or in a closed building, and it just reminds me of like old school Quake or stuff, just jumping around like madmen and sliding, trying to just land shots.
Another feature I really appreciate in it is when you jump, you're all like attached to each other until someone like splits off or something.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
I mean, when we've been on battlegrounds, we've accidentally been like 2 miles away from each other because we're not paying attention or
I
something.
feel
Or
I feel
mostly
like
it's
obviously
me.
the pinging system obviously encourages teamwork, and I feel like the
Yeah,
jumping system does too.
because I
Because
think it was because I was so used to being the second player in PUBG, so I'd be like a certain like because they're all color coded. And I was so used to being a certain color, I thought I was player two and I was player one. So I was looking on the map and
yeah,
I went, I thought I was
yeah,
controlling you. So I was like, I thought you were the one just going the wrong
it
way.
just fixes the like confusion as to what's going on.
Yeah,
I find that the ratio of people landing together is much higher because of that feature alone.
yeah,
Uh, yeah, so gameplay is great. Obviously, the jump feature, the ping. To be fair, the pinging is
no, yeah,
a massive one because it's innovation. The obviously using hero characters now, aren't they? Or
yeah.
legends,
Bringing in
as
some
they call
Overwatch
them.
into it, into Battle
Yeah.
Royale.
So
I didn't see that coming either.
I'm not the biggest fan of that kind of thing. I'd rather my
I
guide
think,
me pick and choose my abilities rather than preset, but it works here. I've
yeah,
I've never got into
I think
Overwatch
that's
because
they did that because that's essentially what Titanfall 2 turned into. Like, because on Titanfall 1 you can like mix and match abilities with your Titans, but on the second one it was like preset. Like every Titan had like a certain ability, so when you
it
encountered
gets
one, you knew what you needed to be aware of.
yeah it gets rid of balancing issues. I guess
Yeah,
makes the game more balanced. It's not innovative, whatever the word is,
yeah.
at all, and which caught me off guard.
It is in terms of like putting it in a battle royale game,
Yeah,
because I
I
don't
know,
think
but
another game would know how to handle it as well. probably.
I don't know. It's obviously the concept of them in original, but if you separate them, Battle Royale isn't original, neither is Thingy, but obviously the concept of them being together works, and it really does work, and I think it's probably the best thing they could have done. I don't know. Yeah, so the legend system, it's fine, it's good, it's what you'd expect really.
Yeah,
Nothing really, nothing mental or crazy. The map, I really like the map actually. I've never really thought about what I
I
think of the
was
map,
really
but
impressed with the map at the start.
yeah, I do like the map. It could be a bit more varied, which will
Yeah,
come in future updates.
I'm not sure
But the
about like
map,
the map being changed, so I'd prefer just new maps. But I guess that's just me, because everyone seems
yeah,
to like it in Fortnite. So
I'd prefer it being like just altered and perfected, like bit of change, but not too much change to the point where
see,
you become isolated by the change.
see,
Like I did on PUBG.
the
I'd
video,
go into
what are you saying?
I'd go into Vegenda or whatever it's called on PUBG, and like it just creates this issue. I know you can filter the maps out, but because they're trying to make the map distinct, they end up like pissing with the gameplay somewhat. Like
Yeah,
the reason that the original map was designed how it was on PUBG is because that's what works. Surely to God,
yeah,
and it's like, and then because they need more content and need to be different. To me, they've pissed out a map that doesn't really work that well, and I don't want the same sort of stuff happening. I'd rather them replace these static, boring buildings on Apex with maybe more thought out ones. Now that the game's can revise each segment of the map
yeah.
and just slowly perfect it and revise, make revisions to the buildings maybe so they work better with the gameplay. Yeah, I just think it'd be better if they just kept altering it slowly so you don't become alienated, which is what happened to me on PUBG.
I was saying there's a picture of the map on the screen right now, and I'm looking at it. I don't even know what to do because most of the map is taken up by like buildings. So if they're gonna
What are we on about? Apex's
just
map.
the map, yeah, like it's not, it's quite small as far as like battle royale maps go because there's only
It's
60
also, I don't
players.
know if you've noticed, um, unlike PUBG, unlike Fortnite, which I don't think you have yet, is it's sort of segmented, not in the way of each area is different, but it is like physically like separated by giant rock and cliffs, so that
Yeah,
you can't just snipe someone over the course of like 1,000 meters,
yeah. There's like
which is often you end up getting
elevation.
shot.
Well, not,
You end up getting shot from you have no idea where on PUBG, but on this that literally can't happen because they've put in basically giant walls, which are in the form of rocks, separating the line of sight from each area, so you can't just pop people off. Have you noticed that now? Do you know
I
what I
think
mean?
so. Yeah,
The big canyons that you stand on, but they're there as a way to separate line of sight, which creates less cheap scenarios of being shot when crossing fields because there's a big ass rock in the way of each area,
yeah.
uh, which to me is different to PUBG and Fortnite. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of Fortnite. I'm a big fan of PUBG, or was. I feel like it's been completely bested.
Oh yeah,
To be fair,
Fortnite should be
and that
petrified. Epic
yeah,
Games.
and that's coming from me who really, and I still like PUBG. It's still the same game, but I do think Apex ultimately. Obviously, we don't want the video being too long,
Yeah,
but like the summary of this whole thing would be, I think Apex is the definitive battle royale experience that
yeah,
I've played. I haven't played them all,
yeah. You
but as
move
far
and
as the
you're
main,
flying around. It's making a noise, by the way.
as far as the like the main people are COD. Well, I wouldn't even call COD as main battle royale in my opinion. But Fortnite, PUBG, Apex, COD. Apex is my favourite. What would you say yours is?
Of all the BR games,
Yeah.
definitely Apex. Yeah,
Would you say
like
PUBG comes in second?
not only like was I a massive fan of Titanfall and its gameplay. Like yeah, it doesn't have the Titans, but I was still a fan of like the fluidity of the movement. Even though it does, even though it takes away quite a chunk out of it, I still really prefer it over like Blackout and PUBG and what else is it, Fortnite.
Yeah. Yeah, well, yeah, that's
Like it still does
still in the
enough.
video.
It still does enough to somewhat stand out because there's just so there's enough in it. But I
Yeah,
still,
it's different enough. It's not too samey. It's not too different. It's the right amount of change and
do you
innovation.
think do you think there'll be a battle royale mode in Titanfall 3? Because I think putting Titans in a battle royale mode was like obviously you can't just slap Titans in this now because it's being created around having no Titans. But
I really don't know.
I really hope someone at least tries a battle
But
royale
what we
with
could do on
Titans.
one of the other videos is just purely speculate about Titanfall.
Yeah,
We could
Titanfall
just
3. Yeah,
do that as a one, and we'll talk about it.
but
But yeah, to
well,
keep it
something we
to
haven't
keep
talked about yet is the microtransactions part. I'm very
yeah.
happy with it, like that aspect.
Um,
It kind of ruins it. Well, it doesn't ruin it, but they've made two of the characters cost, but it hasn't taken us that long to afford them really.
earn one. Yeah, but that's only because which people are over. Everyone's like, oh yeah, it's fine. You know, you earn currency just fine as to earn the thingies. But what everyone forgets is it gets much harder
Yeah.
to level up, and
So
you start getting less. You don't get loot boxes given to you every level past 20. Plus, it's going to take you longer to level up past 20, which means effectively you're getting less money, which means you're getting less stuff. It's just it lures you in like here, take this, and that.
yeah,
But then slowly it's like two fingers. But people need to realize that before licking,
because
you
it's
know.
been out a week now, and you've bought a Mirage. So how many hours do you think you've put in roughly?
I really have no idea. Probably got Mirage after about 15
We've
hours.
played it quite a bit throughout a week, and we've afforded
I
one.
know, I know now, though, I'd have to put probably a good 50 to 60 hours to get the second legend,
Yeah,
and that's what people are forgetting. Like, so a quick tip would be, use your currency wisely because
well, now that I know
it's
that
going
they're
to
gonna make the
come
count,
by.
yeah, what?
I said my tips would be use your currency wisely because it gets harder and harder to come by.
Yeah, because
Don't just blindly spend it.
yeah, now that I know that they're making the characters cost, and obviously in the roadmap they've confirmed like new characters. I don't think I'm ever gonna spend my currency on anything else. Like, because I don't really, as far as how I look and like the skins, I'm not really that bothered because it's just like these preset designs made by other people. I don't feel like they present me. Whereas like in Halo Reach, like you can combine so many like facets to something. It feels like you've
Your character.
assembled
Yeah,
something.
that's one of my biggest gripes with the game is just a lack of identity. Yeah, you've got a player card and you've got skins.
Yeah,
I hate the concept of skins. I
it's
hate it.
because also all the heroes are like these archetypes. Like you've got like oh the robot, oh the one with you know
The muscle
yeah
man.
the muscly man, the one
Yeah,
with the
yeah. It's just that's the problem. That's probably why I've not been the biggest fan of like Rose games because it
yeah.
just takes away the personalization.
Because
But
Respawn
you
was
can't change.
saying because when I was watching the real event, there was this like video and they were saying like they didn't want to have these generic soldiers, but you can give your players the tools to customize them enough to the point where they're not generic.
No,
You know
it's
what I
it's like
mean?
saying
It's like
it's like saying in any game that customization every generic. It's like an MMO.
yeah, it's like
You know you can make a guy a fucking beast if you put the time in.
yeah
No one ever says World of Warcraft characters look generic because they don't because they've
yeah
designed them well so that you can proper customize them. Only generic, mate. If you design generic assets like military vests or this and that, it's.
yeah like
But
I
yeah, I don't
remember
know.
like
I think
on Halo Reach I gave like because you could have like selected voices and I picked a voice and like the EVA armor where it's got a skull in it, and it just felt like my own like character because there's like
yeah.
so many different attributes going towards it. It feels like someone else.
But that's probably my own the customization. But
Yeah,
you never know. Fortnite brought in entire character customization. bit through it.
Have a,
So yeah, so Apex, mate, it's very early days. It's I wouldn't call it a mind to me. Customization is a bigger one, but as far as how old the game is, we'll just have to wait and see if they bring in new systems. But I'd say probably wrap it here, so the video's not overly long.
yeah, it's
Um,
28 minutes, 20 seconds
oh
right
my
now.
god, yeah. Yeah, so overall thoughts are we both really enjoy Apex.
Yeah, it's really good.
We're gonna be making probably more content on Apex as more goes on, but right now it is what it is. Like
Yeah,
nothing's really happening. We're just enjoying it. So yeah, we're just gonna sit and have a think. Whatever springs to mind that we want to talk about, we will. We're not some big corporate thing, or we're not like we're not. This is more of a side hobby. It's more of when we want to do it, we'll do it. We'll talk about what we're going to talk about. It's more of
yep.
user just listening to our conversations, and they happen to be recorded. That's what it's going to be. So yeah, that's me. That's my Rapage. Really enjoyed it. And obviously just stick around. I know there'll be no one listening, but to be fair, at this point we don't really care. It's like
We'll
I say,
just pretend that eventually someone looks at our old
yeah.
videos.
What we're doing is we're
If we get
talking
somewhere.
and we're talking. We'd have these discussions anyway on a daily basis. Why not record them and share them? It's no pain to us. So yeah. Thank you for watching.
Yeah,
If you have one.
what I'd say to encapsulate it all for me is it's like a disappointing great game, just for my like mindset of thinking it was going to be Titanfall Battle Royale, but it's really good.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Right. Thank you for watching,
Yeah.
and we will
Thank you
see
for
you
watching.
later. Bye bye.
Bye.